Honestly, it looked like he was dragging something.
In your mind, you know what he was dragging, right?
When I look back now, yeah.
What's he dragging?
I think he was dragging one of them.
It's part of an ongoing capital murder investigation where we have 2 bodies.
Capital, that means death penalty, right?
You're probably going back to prison.
Meet 34-year-old Amanda Nover and her husband, Adam Williams. Just moments before this interview, Amanda and Adam were caught on a highway camera driving in a dead couple's car. Now detectives have one question for them both. Why?
If you know he committed a crime, that's fine. We need to know it right now. We don't want to find it out later.
But this killer couple isn't at all what they seem. Because when one tries to outsmart cops,
I'm not gonna say anything without a lawyer.
And the other pretends to be a victim,
I don't know why I didn't do something different about all of it.
detectives will have to dig for every clue they can to find the secrets that Amanda and Adam are so desperately trying to hide. That is, until one of them breaks.
I think your story is very accurate, but I think you're leaving out something. The only way this works is if you tell me 100% of the truth.
I felt... And he says that he did what he had to do.
James and Michelle Butler were living the dream. After working tirelessly in the U.S. Navy as an air traffic controller, James retired and embarked on the journey of a lifetime with his wife, Michelle. The two bought an RV and decided to travel the country, something they had both wanted to do for their entire lives. Tragically, their lives were cut short, all because they ran into the wrong people. On October 23, 2019, after not hearing from their parents for a week, James and Michelle's 5 children called police, desperate to find out what happened to them. When police arrived at their campsite on Padre Island in Texas, they made a shocking discovery. James and Michelle's bodies, buried in a shallow grave along a sand dune. Their camper and truck were nowhere to be seen. That is, until their license plate was clocked crossing the border into Mexico, and a photo captured the 2 suspects behind the wheel, Amanda Nover and Adam Curtis Williams. Quickly, police managed to extradite them back to the U.S. and bring them in for questioning. The following footage was kindly provided to us by the Kleberg County Sheriff's Office in Texas.
Obviously, you know you're under arrest. You're here at the jail. So we're going to talk to you a little bit. We're going to ask you some questions. You're under arrest on a warrant, theft warrant out of county here, and I'm handling the investigation related to a capital murder investigation. But because you are under arrest, you have certain rights. I'm going to go ahead and read you those out of Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Because you're not from Texas, I understand. So I'd make sure you want to know those.
Adam has read his rights, and though he's not from Texas, it ain't his first rodeo with the law. Adam previously spent 10 years in prison on drug charges, and though that's the only crime he's been convicted of, he has a long list of ones that he has committed.
Obviously, you were arrested yesterday on the warrant, and that warrant's issued out of here. It's part of an ongoing capital murder investigation, or at least a homicide investigation where we have 2 bodies. So what I want to do today is I want to talk to you. I want to tell you to tell me, because we know a bunch of facts about the case, but I've never met you before. I've never seen you. I want to know how you got to be in our investigation here today. So can you fill me in? I don't know your story. So can you tell me how we got here today?
I got a question.
Absolutely.
Capital, that means death penalty, right?
Well, so capital punishment is the death penalty. The case, we call it capital murder because in our Texas Code of Criminal Procedure and in our penal code, the way you make it to capital is a whole list of stuff. But because 2 people were killed in the same criminal incident, we believe they're killed in the same criminal event, then that would make it capital. Also because we think a robbery occurred at the time of the murder, that would make it capital. You're not being charged with that. You're charged with theft right now. But that's what the investigation is at this point. Obviously we have a homicide that occurred and we're solving that, and that's what I actually want to talk about. But right now you're being charged with theft, and I need to know how you relate in the overall scheme of what happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say anything without a lawyer. I need to talk to a lawyer.
Okay. Do you have a lawyer that you already hired?
No.
Okay, so we'll have one appointed to you. The court system will appoint you one when we magistrate you this morning. Okay. I just want you to consider one thing, and we're not going to ask any questions, just so you'll know. But I know you've got a couple of warrants, and there's a couple of other things going on in your criminal history, and you've been to prison, so you're probably going back to prison. And I just want you to make some good decisions in your life when you talk to your attorney, because the next time we talk is going to be post-indictment, and your attorney's going to be here, and he's going to be representing us. And in that time, I want you to think about it. You're going to have to walk the yard in a prison somewhere. So I just want you to think about the way you handle yourself on this one.
With all of his experience, Adam knows right away to invoke his right. Amanda, however, takes a very different approach. One that's going to show just how deviant Adam's behavior is, and just how dark the crimes he's committed are.
So Amanda, you were here on a theft warrant.
Yes.
And you know that you were actually arrested in a little town in Mexico
Yes.
a few days ago, and got here and we picked you up in the airplane. We're here now. But the theft warrant is based on a large investigation we're doing that involves the homicide, the murder of 2 people that we're currently working. And so you're not being charged with that, not being accused of that, but your information on the crime you're accused of is relating to it. So what I want to do is I want you to first tell me, I want you to start, you are married to, what's your husband's name?
Adam Williams.
Adam Williams. It's Adam Curtis Williams, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Adam's also in custody, and you know that. You are arrested together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what I want you to start with, we need some history on you and Adam and your relationship. So can you start with when you first met him, and then we'll work our way forward. And I may have to stop in and out to get clarification. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that.
So I first met Adam actually through Facebook.
Okay.
At Facebook and POF. I
Okay.
don't know if you...
Plenty of fish.
Yes. And he sent me messages, and I seen his pictures, and he was covered in tattoos, and I was like, that guy's nothing but trouble, and so I ignored him for a long while, and then a friend of mine actually knew who he was and said, I think he's a good dude, and so I talked to him, and like the first message that I sent to Adam, like, he was persistent, and he's like, well, I want to meet you. And so the very, first day of us even talking, he ended up coming to my house in Smithfield. Like, he was so adamant about it. Like, that's his presence. He just says something, and you just, for some reason, you just give in. And I didn't even know him. And I had a couple of friends at the house, though, and so I felt comfortable. And, he came over, and I met him, and he's very, suave, I guess. He's very charismatic. And so all of his tattoos and everything, you kind of see through all of that, and you see this other person and everything. And so he actually came over with his cousin, and we all ended up hanging out the entire night, and I made him dinner and everything, and we hung out, and he went home, and the next few days we talked off and on, and we started to kind of form a relationship.
So, and I don't mean to interrupt, and I know
Yes.
we looked we looked into this.
Mm-hmm.
So the time you're still married to your ex-husband,
Yes.
but y'all separated this
Yes.
time. So about what time was that? What roughly?
Around the end of February.
End of February of this year, of 2019.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead. So
Right.
you started forming a relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
And it honestly, it just kind of, things moved quickly, it seemed. When we met, he had this rule that he could see and date anybody he wanted, but I wasn't allowed to. That, I guess, came from spending as much time in prison as he did, but I didn't.
How long was he in prison?
10 years
10
is
years.
what I've been told, and I believe round about 10 years for selling marijuana.
For selling marijuana. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of not the greatest in the beginning, because he actually had another girlfriend when we met, and she knew about me, and I knew about her, and everything like that. And it wasn't until a few months after him and I had been seeing each other that he decided that he wanted to be with just me, and he made that decision. That was his choice to not see any other women or sleep with any other women or anything like that, and came fully devoted to me.
What an honor to have a convict and a cheater choose you. It's like winning the world's worst contest. And in this case, worst might be an understatement. Because Amanda here wasn't just putting herself at risk.
I guess because he did that, I I don't know, maybe in a sense I felt like I owed him something, and he'd been asking me to move in with him, and I didn't want to because I had my house, I had my space, I had my daughter, and my safe place, like, and that was extremely important to me because all through our, like, dating time, Adam, even though, like, I don't know if he was allowed to drink or not, but he would get drunk and he would black out, and when he'd black out, he'd get violent. And he would turn into somebody completely different. It just completely different. But when he sobered up, he'd be back to himself and he wouldn't remember what happened. And so me selling my home, that was like a really hard thing. But I'd been a stay-at-home mom for so long, and I had just split up with my husband, and I was basically living at Adam's. And still, because I had a trailer home, I was still paying my pad rent, and I didn't quite know how I was going to keep paying pad rent, you know, being a stay-at-home mom with no job, everything like that. And so I sold my trailer and I moved in with him, and that was, like, honestly, like, one of the first things that I regretted mostly, because that was my safe place.
So about when was that?
I don't even know. I honestly, like, because of the last few months, like, time is just kind of a mess for me.
So let's say, so you meet the end of February, you date for a month or two before you move in, or a week or two? How long do you think?
A month or two before I, like, fully moved in.
Okay.
But we started dating, and it was, like, he would spend, like, 3 nights at my house, and then I'd spend 2 nights at his, and then his other girlfriend would come and spend a night at his house. And so it was kind of weird, I guess, in regards to that. But when I sold my place and I fully moved in with him, like, he broke it off with his other girlfriend and everything. But I'm trying to think.
That's right. Amanda has a daughter, Ryan, and yet within 1 month of knowing a convicted felon, she moved in with him, dragging her daughter along with her. And while Amanda is telling detectives that the man she moved in with willingly ended his relationship with his other girlfriend, that's not exactly the case. The relationship ended after he viciously attacked his other girlfriend, Stephanie, and she filed a police report against him, something that Amanda found herself doing soon after she moved in with Adam.
At the time when you said he was recently out of prison, he did not have warrants for his arrest at this time?
No.
Okay.
No.
So tell me kind of how that progresses into how we get to those situations.
Well, Adam, when we met, he liked to drink, and when he would drink, he would black out and he would get violent. And there were a few times that neighbors, like, heard us fighting, and I would try to leave. I remember the, like, first time, well, not the first time, I remember the actual first time that he smacked me. And that was before I sold my trailer, actually. And we were at my trailer at my house, and we had been drinking. Ryan was in bed, and I was messaging somebody on my phone, and he took my phone from me, and he got upset about one of the messages, and, like, he smacked me, and, like, he threatened me and told me that he should freaking, like, make it so my face was unrecognizable, and it terrified me. And I honestly, like, I waited because he held me in the bedroom, and I waited until he kind of let his guard down, and I grabbed my daughter, and because I lived in a trailer park, and I ran to my neighbor's house. And he still had my phone at that time. And, like, I was terrified, but I didn't want the cops to come and arrest him because, like, I knew his history, and I didn't want him to get in trouble. Like, not, I guess, in accordance to me, if that makes any sense. And so because he had my phone, I used my neighbor's phone, and I called him, and I told him, I says, you need to leave my house. Like, you need to leave. right now. You're at my house. You have no right to be there. You need to go. And he left, and he took my phone with him. And he went back to his house. And I remember, like, because I had my neighbor come back and stay with me because I was afraid that he was going to come back. I didn't know him very well at that time, like. And so she came back and stayed, and he kept calling her phone. And, like, the next day, when he sobered up, he said he didn't remember anything and that he was so sorry, and he at least wanted to bring my phone back and everything like that. So he brought my phone back, and, like, he was crying and telling me how sorry he was, and, you know, that would never ever happen again. And I fell for it. Like, I fell for that. And because I was done. I mean, nobody's ever smacked me like that. And I'm like, But there was something about him, like, and so I continued to date him, like, and that was the first time, and he promised me that nothing would ever happen again.
Look, we like to joke on our channel here at the expense of the perpetrators, but in this case, what we're about to say is deadly serious. If someone tells you that they will never hurt you again, they will. For serial domestic violence offenders, this is the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. They do something horrific to you, come groveling back, apologizing and showering you with compliments, and then the cycle repeats itself, on and on and on. Until you find yourself in a situation like Amanda, where over the course of several months, Adam racked up battery charges for his attacks on her, and actually had a warrant out for his arrest. And what did they do instead of breaking up or facing the warrant?
So, y'all aren't married at that point. You're still just dating.
Correct.
Okay. Did you know when they became warrants, or did he know that when he was wanted?
In regards to the most recent assault, when the officers came and tased him and he fought back, yes, because the day we got married, we didn't do a wedding or anything. We had a few friends over to the house, and we just signed our marriage certificate and then took it. So what happened is we signed our marriage certificate, had a person that, what are they called, that can legalize the marriage or whatever. He was there, and when Adam went to go turn the marriage certificate in and take the gentleman back that was the wedding officiant or whatever, the police showed up and said they had a warrant for his arrest. And so, like, and literally as he's coming back, he sees that there's cops outside the house, and he turns around and drives off. And so we got married on August 29th, and that's when the officers came in regards to, like, that assault. They had tacked on a new assault, and that's what they were there to pick him up on. And that was a first-degree assault, and it, not 100% sure, like, what the backing was for it, you know, but they obviously had plenty of backing on that, because he got an assault on a police officer, an assault by a prisoner. He got possession of alcohol by an interdicted person, because on his last set of charges, his DUI, he was told that he couldn't drink. He got an intoxication charge. And then I think that there was just a plain assault, and I think the just plain assault was supposed to be an assault on me.
Okay.
But I don't know fully, like, what the whole backing of that set of charges were.
So
It sounds like Amanda knew exactly what those charges were stemming from. Every single one of them. And the list is long. For the first hour of the interrogation, Amanda talks about the toxic relationship she's in, which is terrible, obviously. No one should be subjected to violence, and Adam's behavior was completely inexcusable. and yet she continuously excuses it, which is a giveaway that their relationship is trapped in this devastating cycle. One that ultimately led to the demise of 2 innocent people. And as she stated earlier, she wasn't the only one put at risk, which should have been the first sign.
There was an incident that was kind of sitting in limbo, I guess, that Adam, like, we were just kind of waiting to see if they were going to file charges on.
Okay.
And that's the
Okay.
charge. I honestly, like, I had sold my place and I had moved in with him. And as I was unpacking, a couple of officers came to the house and they said that they wanted to talk to Adam about something. And he didn't have a warrant or anything, but the gal, she had pressed like a no contact order, I guess, or protective order or something like that. And they wanted to talk to Adam about the incident. And I had no idea, and I asked him what it was about, and they told me, well, you'll need to talk to him about that. Like, we can't disclose that. And so I called him. He was at work, and he started to kind of tell me, like, you know, well, because of this and this and this. And he told me we'd talk more about it when he got home. Like, he actually had, like, all the paperwork and everything, and he showed it to me, and I remember, like, I was so mad because he had known about all of this and he didn't say anything to me. Like, and it was a big deal, you know. And I read her statement and everything like that, and it just, like, I know what I read was true, like what she stated. And, like, I don't know that, like, firsthand. I just know that because, I mean, he'd done the same thing to me.
So what did she say, and what had he done to you? What are you talking about?
So, Adam he actually, like, I'm not even gonna say used to. Sometimes I get really, like, aggressive during, really, really aggressive. And you weren't allowed to, like, say no. Like, if you did, he would either, like, try and be like, oh, no, you know, just do this, and honestly, like, so the incident with this gal happened, and I looked at the date, and what she had put in her report. So Adam and we had gotten into a fight earlier that night because what he did to her, he did to me. Like, same exact night.
Same day.
Same day.
So what did he do? Tell me. I know it's uncomfortable, but it's important.
Adam sometimes, like I said, he'd get aggressive, like, and sometimes, like, he would, like, hurt you. This incident, like, he used his hand, and he made me bleed. Like, he tore me, and, like, I still have a scar. And that's the same exact thing that he did to this gal. Like, and it made me so mad because that's the reason I left that night, and he did it to somebody else, and I didn't even know. Like, I had no idea that he called this other girl to come over. Nothing like that. Like, but that's when we were still, like, not we, when he was still seeing other women. Like, and I had to be okay with it. But I didn't find out about all of this until after I had moved in, until I sold my trailer and I had moved in. That what he did to me, he did to somebody else the same exact night, probably only a few hours later. And she called and pressed charges. Like, she went to a doctor and everything like that, and she pressed charges about it. And that's, like, when I read her statement, like, I was just so mad because, like, I don't know why I didn't do something different about all of it. And that, honestly, that wasn't even, like, close to the worst, like, when it comes to that.
Fleeing the charges, the two decided to get a truck and trailer and head south, looking for free camping spots to start a new life near the ocean. While they were fleeing the consequences of their actions, Michelle and James Butler were enjoying the fruits of their labor, traveling cross-country in the trip of their dreams. The two couples found themselves on the island for very, very different reasons.
You know, we'd been here for about a week, but we were completely out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was no gas for our generator. Like, we're running out of food. Like, everything was tapped. And so when that money got sent, like, that replenished everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, we were able to put gas in the generator and put gas in the truck and get smokes, get food, and be okay for a moment.
And how long did that last?
Honestly, I don't know, because I never...
You weren't aware of the dates. Okay.
Well, no, and I never had the money.
You didn't have the money.
Adam wouldn't let me have the money because I think he was afraid that I would take it and leave,
Okay.
if that makes sense. Like,
Okay. You have the means to go at that point. Okay. So
Totally.
you're living on the beach. You got a little bit of money. Things are going okay.
it never was okay.
So when you say never okay, is he still physically abusive of you at this point?
It got extremely bad again. Like, he ran out of pot,
Okay.
and, like, he would have crazy mood swings again.
Mm-hmm. So he's wanted. He's violent. Did he have weapons?
Did he have weapons?
Yeah.
At that time, I mean, there were always knives.
How about guns?
At that time, I don't think that there was. But
Okay. Hang on. Because when you're saying that time, was there a gun later? Or a gun earlier? What gun?
I'm not too extremely familiar
With guns?
with guns. I'm not.
Okay.
But later, somehow, like, I do know a gun was acquired.
What does it look like?
It's a smaller black handgun.
Okay.
Like, and I know this because, like, I had seen it, and, like, there were times that he had, like, left it in an uncomfortable spot for me, and I would move it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So Ryan didn't get it, obviously. Now, so when you say small black handgun, do you know the difference in a revolver and an automatic?
Yes, that I do.
Is it an automatic or revolver?
It's not a revolver.
It's automatic.
Revolver has the...
The wheel,
Yeah,
cylinder,
it's
so
not
it's
a-
back and forth.
Yeah.
A lot of times people refer to them by their caliber. They call them a 45, a 9, a 40. Did he use any of that terminology? Do you know what caliber it was?
I don't know what
How
caliber.
big? in your hands, how big do you think the gun was?
Well, like I said, I had moved it, like that.
All black?
Yes,
The grip was black also?
yes, all black.
Okay. Did you ever see the magazine out of it?
Yes,
So you saw the size of the bullets?
yes.
If I showed you different bullets, would you be able to tell me if it looked like the same ones?
I might be able to, yes, actually.
Okay, so this is a 45 bullet. Was it that big?
No, I don't
Okay,
think
so
so.
it's smaller than that? Is it something more this size? Or
Mhm.
smaller than that even?
I think actually maybe smaller than that.
Smaller than that? Okay. Maybe something more along this size here?
That I think.
Probably about this size?
Mhm.
Okay, this is a 380, so something along
Okay.
that size. Other than that, we're talking, so make sure you can see it. Okay, so how many bullets do you think it had in it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Would it be
Honestly, like,
Would it be a little bitty magazine that looks something like this?
yeah.
Or would it be a little
was-
bit bigger that looks something
No,
like this?
no, no,
So something like this.
yes.
Okay. So like a little single stack.
Yes.
Let's see. Like a little single stack 380 magazine. Okay. So where did you get that gun from?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It was honestly like acquired when I think, truthfully, when I was at the hospital.
Okay. And in my mind, I don't think he's buying that. He's committing crimes. Are you agreeing? So here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to limit your participation. If you know he committed a crime, if you helped commit a
No.
crime, hang on just a second. If you helped commit a crime, that's fine. We need to know it right now. We don't want to find it out later.
No,
you know what I'm
of
saying?
course.
So
No.
stealing,
don't
selling drugs.
I don't think that he is, and if he is, I don't have any knowledge
Was
in
he
that.
using drugs at that time?
Just marijuana.
Just marijuana. at that
Actually,
point?
no. He ran out of marijuana, so no.
So nothing else.
Mm-mm. Not
Okay.
that I seen, not that I knew of.
Are y'all hanging out? Are you associating with any people on the beach? Do y'all have any friends or people
no.
that stop by at that point?
No.
Not at all.
No, there were people like that would stop by and ask like how the tide was.
Right, but you're not. So he wouldn't be getting his drugs or his guns or something from somebody that y'all met on the beach that he's hanging out with over there.
Not that I know.
Are you with him most of the day?
Yes, but there's times that like either I'd be sleeping or I'd take Ryan and we'd go look for seashells. It was like our thing, and it got me away from him. And
So how long would he be away from you?
in cases like with me being out like looking for seashells, truthfully, like sometimes I would walk up and down the beach for a few hours with Ryan.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
that was the only good thing about
The
being
beach.
on the beach.
So he
That was
he
it.
had a couple hours he could go talk to somebody. He came up with that gun somewhere. He didn't have it with him in Washington, right?
No, he didn't. And that I do know.
So it showed up there. Okay. Now, okay. All right. So keep going from the beach. Now, where do we go from the beach?
So, from the beach, like,
Well, so hang on a minute. Did he ever discuss with you? Because I was concerned. He knew he had warrants, but yet he gave him his driver's license on that traffic stop.
mhm,
Did he have the gun at that time?
I think he did.
Was he planning? I mean, he doesn't want to go to jail. Had he
The only
discussed with you
thing-
like I'm gonna have a shootout with the police or anything?
He had said things like that to me prior, and that's why, like, I think he sought out a gun,
Mm-hmm.
was because, like, is there any way we can take a moment?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is there any way I can have a cigarette?
Let me.
Please.
Let me find out if the deputy who had cigarettes is still here. If we're going to take a cigarette break, we're actually going to turn the video off,
Okay,
and then we'll come back. So you go
Okay.
turning video off for just a little bit.
that's fine.
Lieutenant, you good with that?
This is a very, very good moment for detectives. Whenever suspects need a minute for a cigarette, it means it's about to be their last one. And when Amanda comes back, she proves just how accurate that assumption is, because she's ready to confess.
Where were we? What were we talking about when we left off?
We were talking about how Adam obtained the gun, and the reason I wanted to stop is because what I was starting to say wasn't true. Like, I know where he got the gun.
You do know where he got the gun.
I do know.
Okay.
We went to a gun show here in Texas, and we were there for honestly hours, literally asking everybody. Like, he was asking because I didn't want any part of it, because I don't like guns. I'm just not comfortable with guns. I haven't ever been. And
So
nobody
you said in
would.
Texas, you meaning while we're here at the island, the gun shows around this area?
Yes.
Okay.
I was at a small, kind of like Shriners type thing.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yep. It's a Shriners.
Okay.
We know the one you're talking about.
Okay. And we went in there, and literally, like, he played it off that he wanted something for me. And so I was the one that was getting the gun, and we looked at so many, and literally, I swear we asked everybody in there, like, and nobody would sell a gun to somebody with an ID out of state.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and finally somebody, like, the very last person that possibly could be asked, did. And everything was just kind of fuzzy at that point, because I didn't want that to happen. Does that make sense? Like, every part of me was hoping, like, and I got upset, and I went outside. I took my daughter outside of, like, the convention, and, like, just stood out there because I didn't want to be there anymore, and I wanted to leave, and he made me go back inside, and he was trying to be so nice and so calm about all of it and everything, and we went back inside, and we got something to eat, and asked a bunch of others, and finally one said that they would, and, like, the transaction was so quick, like, that's why I'm not even honestly sure what the gun was, because
So you
it
gave
was,
them your ID?
gave him my ID, he took a picture of it.
Did you
And
fill out a yellow piece of paper, a white
Nope.
piece of paper, anything?
Nothing, no paperwork, nothing. And Adam handed him the money.
How much did he pay for it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Like, I really don't, like,
He gave him cash. He obviously
cash.
didn't write a check
Yeah.
or a credit
No,
card. He
it
paid
was
cash.
It was cash.
Okay, now when he said he was going to buy a gun, what did he tell you? What was the gun for?
Because if he got stopped by the cops, he didn't want to be arrested. He said that he'd never go back to prison. And so his plan was to shoot it out. And I was terrified, because all I could think of was, what about Ryan and I?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you going to do? An officer comes up, and you're going to pull a gun and then fire, and then they're going to return fire, and Ryan and I are going to be, like...
So the day that y'all were stopped on the beach, did you have the gun with him that day?
I think so.
Okay.
That I really don't know.
You didn't see him trying to get it ready or
No.
pick it up? Or...
No, as far as I know, no.
Okay.
In regards to that.
The gun that Amanda's describing is a match for the weapon used to kill James and Michelle Butler as they laid in their RV, an RV that they had both worked their entire lives to afford, so they could go on the road and live their dream of seeing the country. A dream that was savagely snatched away from them in an instant.
So, we're getting some really important details coming up here, and I want you to concentrate very, very carefully on this.
Okay.
You were in a 1999 Chevrolet and a 1974 Prowler trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the truck and trailer we arrested you in.
No, that's not.
How did we get the other trailer?
So, honestly, we had stayed at the one spot on Padre Island for past the 14 days, like well past the 14 days, and we drove to the south side, and that's when we were stopped.
Okay.
Because we weren't wearing our seatbelts.
Mm-hmm.
And we were looking for a new place to move the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a new place to park it.
Sure.
We didn't have anywhere to go. And so, but I remember, like, he stopped and Adam was in the bathroom, and like I was doing something in the kitchen. Honestly, I think I was throwing up or something, because I was still. It took quite a few days for this one to clear up, and then it's hit me again in another spot. But he said that we needed to move, and so at that point, like, we didn't really, like, have any plan at all. And I told Adam, like, that we needed to leave. And I remember that we got into a really, really nasty fight. And so there wasn't anybody camped up from us, because I took Ryan and I had put our blankets in my backpack while Adam was in the bathroom. And I started walking up the beach. And, like, I literally, like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like, I didn't have a plan. Like, I'd had enough, and I just wanted to get away. I wanted to get away from all of it. I wanted to get away from everything. And so we're walking up the beach, and honestly, I think that Ryan and I had been out there walking because we walked all the way up to the dock. The
Bob Hall Pier.
Yes, yeah. We'd walked all the way up there. And during that trek from where we were all the way up, somebody stopped and asked if everything was okay, and I asked them if they would take me to the nearest women's shelter. And they Googled it, and they said it was like 30 minutes away, and that they couldn't because they didn't have enough time to take Ryan and I there, and then for them to get back. Like, I think they were on their break or something. And I was mad. I was really mad because it took a lot of guts in my eyes for me to actually ask somebody to take me. Because I feel if that person would have, I would have finally gotten away. Like, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But he gave me $20, and I took Ryan to the pier, and I got her something to eat. I got back in the truck, and we went back, and we stayed at the laundromat that night because we didn't have any other place to stay. And it just, I think that night, because, well, it was that night that Adam got the new truck and trailer.
When you say got the new truck and trailer, what do you mean?
So, this is hard.
I understand that. It's super important.
I know. We get to the laundromat, and Adam says that he found a new truck and trailer because our truck was literally dying. Like, the motor was blowing up on it. It was. And so I was like, okay, what do you mean? And he was very vague, and he's just like, well, I know where a new truck and trailer is, and like, don't need to worry about it. And I didn't quite understand, you know what I mean? Like, later, so we're there, and like, I didn't press the matter or say anything else about him saying about a new truck and trailer, and then he says, well, I'm gonna unhook our trailer and we're gonna go for a ride and you're gonna drop me off. And I asked, I says, why? And he's like, well, I need to go pick up the new truck and trailer. And I'm thinking, what in the hell? No. I didn't think that Adam had done anything bad, because Adam's like mother is wealthy, and she bought the house that Adam and I lived in, and they had been talking about selling the house and sending the money so that we had money. Like, and it's $130,000 house. So I didn't think anything like malicious or anything when Adam said that he had like a new truck and trailer and everything like that. Like, I'd never seen Adam be violent against anybody but me, if that makes sense. And like,
except for the multiple women he attacked and the numerous people who he beat up in prison. So much so that when asked about prison, he said, all I wanted to do was work out, get high, and hurt people.
I was scared, like, because why, you know, obviously there's not just going to be a truck and trailer sitting there that he purchased, if that makes sense.
Did you think he was going to steal one as well?
I did. 100%.
Okay.
That I'm guilty of.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be able to stop him from anything.
Hang on just a minute.
Like,
Hang on just a minute, because when you said you stopped, you said you stopped and you stayed there for a minute.
so
And
I
it's-
dropped him off.
Hang on just a minute,
Yes.
because when you said that, I could see you playing it back in your mind, and something bothered you about when you stopped there for a minute. Tell me what that is.
I had a bad feeling.
Okay.
He walked up and then he walked down, and I remember because I drove down, there was like the truck and trailer that we ended up with back, like, and everything was dark and like you couldn't even like see it very well, but I drove past it and
There's no lights on in it?
mm-mm,
Okay.
no, that's why I didn't think so much about it, and that's why I didn't think that anybody had gotten hurt. Does that make sense? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean it wasn't super late. It was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock or something. I don't know, but that's my assumption, is that it was around that time.
So you
And
drive
so-
on by, and where do you go?
So I drive down and I turn around and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, I'm thinking, and sure enough, like, because the truck, it wasn't hooked up to the trailer, like the one that we ended up with, they weren't hooked up. And I was kind of watching him, and sure enough, like, he hooks the truck up and he pulls out, and I'm thinking, like, holy shit, like, he's stealing somebody's freaking truck and trailer, like, And so I sat there and then I followed him.
Hang on
And-
just for a minute.
Yes.
When you took him to go down there, did he have the gun with him
When I took him,
to go get the truck and trailer?
I don't know.
Okay.
That I
Okay.
really don't
That's
know.
fine. That's fine.
And I'm like, well, I'm going back now, and my adrenaline is pumping because he's in this, like, truck, and he has this trailer that's not ours. And I'm thinking, oh, God. Like,
So where do y'all go?
so we go back to the laundromat. And I'm like, for real? And he's like, yeah, this is what I got us, is what he kept saying. This is what I got us. And I'm like, no, Adam. He's like, well, we need a new truck. No, we're not gonna, like, I didn't think, even though he told me, oh yeah, I've got a new truck and trailer, and oh yeah, I dropped him off. Like, I didn't think that he was doing anything bad until he got in the truck and hooked it up, that trailer, and then went to drive off, and he didn't even know that I hadn't gone back.
So laundromat, what do y'all do at the laundromat?
At the laundromat, he starts taking out everything that belonged to them and putting all of our stuff in there, and
Where did he put the stuff that belonged to them?
this stuff that belonged to them, like their clothes, took it into the laundromat and left them in there.
Okay.
I was still so sick and everything was happening so fast, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe he just stole this. Like, are you serious? Like,
Okay.
this is not okay, and I'm freaking out, and he's just telling me just to calm down and freaking, like, but his demeanor had changed. Instead of him being, like, mean, he was more like, because he needed my help to move all of our stuff. And so he was being nice, actually, and he's like, come on, like, this trailer's nice, we won't have to live in that little thing anymore, like, and it was so nice. And, like...
So hang on just a minute.
Yes.
When was the first time you got in the new trailer? At the laundromat?
Yes.
Did you notice anything about it?
About the trailer?
Okay. Did you notice blood or
No.
nothing?
Nothing like that. The only thing that I thought, like, the bedroom, like, all of the bedding was completely gone. And, like, there was a cat in there. And so it smelled like cat. But, like, because the trailer had been moved without things being put in places, it was a mess in there.
But you said the bedding was completely gone.
Yes.
Like the mattress with no sheets, no pillows, no anything?
Yes, yep. We left our truck and trailer there. And we drove off. And his plan was to go to Mexico.
Okay. And before we get to the Mexico part, thank you for telling me this. I think your story is very accurate, but I think you're leaving out something, a few little parts in there.
Okay.
And here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to leave out parts because, one, you think we're going to think poorly of you, or because you don't want to get in trouble. Because the only way this works is if you tell me 100% of the truth, and you know the part we're missing. Okay? So what I want to do is I want you to think very carefully, because that isn't exactly what happened when you dropped him off at the beach. It's a little bit different. Okay? Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to come back to that? Here's the deal. We have to have 100% honesty.
I know. No, I know.
And I'm not going to think less of you. We understand it was a very bad situation. We understand it was very bad. But your story is very, very detailed, very accurate until we get to that part. And I know that's why.
chance that we can take one more break?
Let's take another break.
One more smoke?
Absolutely.
Once again, detectives know they're about to get the truth. And for all of Amanda's flaws, she's been incredibly forthcoming. After she gets a cigarette, that is.
So, when I dropped him off to pick up the truck and trailer that he said he had found, and everything was dark, I did drive down, and I came back, and I parked, and, I know that he removed some things from the trailer. I don't know what. I do know that. My assumption, it was because, honestly, my main concern was Ryan. But I thinking, the bedding, that type of stuff, I honestly, truthfully, I didn't ever see anything, and that's, I swear on my daughter's life.
Okay, let's talk about he removed something. Okay, so how far away are you parked?
So the trailer is right here, and then the other truck is right here, and then I'm parked down.
Could he see you?
Yeah.
So he knew you were there?
Yeah.
Okay, he knows you're there.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's not trying to hide from you what he's doing.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. And in your mind, you're trying to not see what you're seeing at this point.
In my mind, I'm not trying to see anything, honestly.
Okay.
And
So you said he removed something from the trailer.
yes.
When you say remove something, is he carrying a box? Is he dragging something? Does he have something over his shoulder?
Honestly, it looked like he was dragging something.
Okay. Now, if I'm dragging a towel, that's one thing. If I'm dragging,
Oh, it was, that's why I'm thinking, the bedding and everything, because it was bigger.
was it heavy?
I think so.
Okay. Okay. In your mind, you know what he was dragging, right?
When I look back now, yeah.
What's he dragging?
I think he was dragging one of them.
Okay. Okay. We know that too. In your mind, you're blocking out what he's dragging. He's dragging a body out of there. Okay? All right, Amanda, let's talk about what happens next. And it's going to be important to me. He drags whatever he's dragging out, and then where does he go?
Goes up in the dark.
Up, you mean
Up in the dunes.
in the dunes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what do you see?
Honestly, I stopped, looking.
Okay.
I stopped.
So do you think, because you're an intelligent person, you're a dumb person, you're like, oh shit, he just killed these people? You're blocking this out, I don't want to see anymore? Did he tell you to wait for him while I go do this? Did you know he was
I don't, honestly, I don't, I think that he didn't kill them while I was there,
Okay.
to be honest,
Were you close enough you think you would have heard him shoot him if he had shot them?
yeah,
Okay.
because, that it's loud,
Okay.
because when we got the gun, he fired off one round to make sure,
Mm-hmm.
that it worked, and it was so loud, and so, that's why
Okay.
I didn't think,
Okay.
I
Looking back on it, that's what you think he was doing, was taking a body out of the trailer. How long was he gone from the time he dragged it up, you said, into the dunes?
mm-hmm.
So how long was he gone from the time you dragged it up into the dunes until you saw him again?
I don't know, because
No, so here's the
I
difference.
no, I wouldn't look.
No, so I'm not
Does that
asking. I'm not
make
asking you to
sense?
tell me like he was gone a minute 42 seconds. I want to know, was he gone long enough that he just walked up there and walked back, or was he
No,
gone for a while and then he
it
came back?
had to have been a while.
Did he make multiple trips
Yeah.
to the dunes?
Yes.
What did you see him carrying? You saw something important in your
I-
mind right now.
I didn't. No, I didn't. It was similar to the first thing.
Okay.
Like, I didn't.
So he's dragging's the second thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does he make a trip after that?
Well, he hooks the truck up.
Does he make a trip to the dunes? Does he go back and forth another time after he takes it to them? The two whatever she took.
After the 2, no.
Do you see anything else in his hands?
No, not that I can remember, because honestly, like, I didn't
So I want to ask you
I
about.
didn't want to look.
Does he have a flashlight?
No.
A stick?
Like, I know he didn't have a flashlight because I would have seen it, and it was
Okay.
extremely dark. Everything was so dark. Like, there
Okay.
was no lights.
What about a stick?
Um,
A shovel? A bucket?
no bucket. There were shovels, but there were shovels on the outside, on the outside of the other truck, leaned up against it. And so, I literally, I didn't want to look.
Okay,
And
let's-
so, no. So, I know that he moved shovels, but I don't know when.
So you unload the stuff. What does he tell you? So I understand you're scared of him, but there is some sort of conversation because he has now upped the ante on what y'all are doing wrong. So tell me.
He doesn't really say much.
But you ask him about it.
And he says that he did what he had to do
Okay.
to get us a new truck.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say.
One thing to do was call the police in secret. One thing to say was, please get me the hell out of here. My husband just murdered 2 people. Amanda, of course, did neither. Now she was a victim of violence at the hands of her husband, but she allowed her daughter to be the victim of her choices and to be present in the aftermath of a murder. Not only that, but she fled to Mexico with her husband behind the wheel. When they arrived in Mexico on their ill-fated escape, things didn't go exactly as they planned, because unbeknownst to them, when they tried to sell their stolen RV to a local, that local had seen a news bulletin to be on the lookout for the family, and he immediately called the police and kept them in place so that they could arrive.
We've run out of money because the toll roads are really expensive in Mexico.
Okay, so you're at this place parked there.
And Adam and I, we keep fighting, and he keeps hurting me. And I beg him to, let me send Ryan back to the States. 'Cause I couldn't do anymore, and I wanted her safe, and I knew we weren't safe. And I didn't want to be without my daughter, but I'd rather her be here and be safe than with me, because it wasn't safe.
Okay. What is your long-term plan? Are we having plans what are we gonna do? We're gonna stay here forever. We're gonna go to another country.
There was talk of going to Panama, of going to Belize, of going to Iceland, of
You
going.
can't drive there. How are you planning on getting there? Plane tickets or?
No,
just-
that I wanted no part of anything.
Okay.
Except Amanda was a huge part of the ordeal, and though she repeatedly claims that she cared about her daughter's safety above all else, the fact that she brought her daughter alongside her, fleeing to Mexico, is an example of her doing the exact opposite. Ultimately, the two were extradited to the US, where Amanda pleaded guilty to 4 charges: murder, theft, tampering with physical evidence, and unlawful possession of a firearm. She took a plea deal, resulting in a 20-year sentence. In order to avoid the death penalty, Adam pleaded guilty to capital murder, earning life in prison instead. Thankfully, Amanda's daughter is now with family and is being raised well. We wish her, as well as the families of James Butler and Michelle Butler, healing and happiness. They did not deserve the loss they've experienced, and we hope there are brighter days ahead. Thank you for watching today's video. Whether you're new here or have been with us for a while, check out one of the craziest cases I've ever covered right here. or one of my newest uploads right here.